Hey guys, my name is Bruce, and this is ConvoCourses. This is a podcast where I talk about how to get into cybersecurity, how to get into IT. I also talk about my specialty, which is security compliance, specifically NIST 853, but also do PCI compliance, and I can do ISO 27001, all that stuff. I talk about all those things on this channel, and then also I'll open it up to just basic security stuff. But this is all about us rising up together and making more money, becoming more stable in our lives. That's what this whole thing is about. That's what my mission is. That's what I do. All right, so let me start off by telling you guys I have a course. I have a site where you can get free information. It's called ConvoCourses.com. Go ahead and sign up for it. Signing up is for free. And if you don't want to pay for stuff, that's fine. I got tons of free stuff all over the internet. I've got YouTube channels. I'm on TikTok where I answer people's questions directly. So that's what this whole channel has been about for the last few years. All right, let me show you a couple of things going on right now that people are interested in. You might be interested in it. I have a book that breaks all this stuff down right now. This is actually going to be a series. I've got a whole series that's actually being released that's coming out here real soon, but it's risk management framework, information system security officer work. That's really my specialty. That's what I can, off the top of my head, I can teach people how to do it because I just been doing it for so long. But this book right here is a short book that talks about how to do this, how to get in this field. Specifically just what you do if you're an ISSO. It's very short. It's very to the point. It is no fluff in this book. It just does what it does. So there's this. Now, if you're not like really a reader, myself, I like to do audiobooks. I put this on audio. I put most of my books on audio because I prefer personally to do audiobooks myself. So yeah, if this is like an hour and 32 minutes long, if you're interested in this, go ahead and go check it out. It's on audible.com, and right now you can get a 30-day trial to where you can get this book for free, and just check it out. This is a part of a whole series. There's a whole series of books that are going to be released here real soon. And let me show you what else I've got going on. People have been asking me for years about an SCA course. I'm working on that. It's en route. It's gonna be done by the middle of this month. As a matter of fact, I think I'll just do like I normally do and release it early for cheaper, and then continue to release more material on it. And then as I release stuff, the price goes up because there's way more hours. It starts off with like 4 hours and it ends up in 12 hours, of content and downloadables and books and all kinds of stuff that goes with that course. But there it is right there. And stay tuned I've got a book coming out. Let me just show you the draft of this book. This one I'm proud of. This is part of that Risk Management Framework series. And this right here is going to go into each control family. So I start off with AC controls and go through each family. Every single family. What do you do? If you are a cybersecurity person, what do you do in each one of these security controls? What do you do, for example, when you're categorizing the system? What do you do as an ISSO, as a cybersecurity person? What do you do to implement this assessment? You could literally go through this and you would know how to be an ISSO, because a lot of ISSOs don't know this level of detail. So this right here, I'm pretty proud of. This book is going to be out real soon. I'm actually having it edited right now. I mean, it's done. Like, it's actually, first draft is complete. So now I'm just go ahead and I'm actually doing the formatting on it and editing it. But this is coming out really soon. By the time you watch this video, this book is probably out. So go check Amazon. Just look up Bruce Brown. Look up NIST Risk Management Framework. RMF ISSO. You will find me on Amazon. So as a matter of fact, you just type this in right here, and then you will find my books. So by the time you see this video, it's probably already out. So go ahead and go check it out. Go ahead and buy that book. Okay. And actually, if you follow me, I'm going to be releasing it early, or like a pre-release, where I usually do some huge discount. And if you sign up on the site, signing up on the site is free. Anytime I release a new book, I talk to my audience first. I say, hey guys, I've got this book out. I'm giving it to you guys first before I release it to everybody else. Here you go. Here's the email. And then you have a link going there and buying it. Sometimes it's even free. So just go ahead and sign up for ConvoCourses.com and be looking out for those books coming out. And it's going to be an audio book, by the way. A much longer audio book. All right. So let me see. I've got some questions here. I'm going to dive right into those questions. And I think, let me see if I prepared it. Here, give me a second here. Okay. Before I jump into this, you guys should know I've got a TikTok account. This TikTok account's been going pretty good, I have to admit. I've got about 1,000. I think it's because it's new, so it's much easier to get engagement fast and get followers and stuff. It's going pretty good. So people ask me questions there. I'll do a quick 15 to 3 minute video about their question, or sometimes I'll even take questions from Facebook or from YouTube, and I'll post it on there, and then I'll post it on all the short content platforms, so that I can very quickly teach people some stuff, or just relate information such as, hey, there's a job out there, stuff like that. So if you didn't know, it's TikTok. Just go to TikTok and type in ConvoCourses, and I'm there. And I'm also on, of course, Facebook, and I'm on Instagram. Not doing too well on Instagram. Never did do too well on Instagram, but here I am, all over Instagram. So yeah, follow me on all platforms. It's ConvoCourses. And by the way, if any of you guys are on Tumblr still, I'm on Tumblr. That's like saying I'm on AOL these days. This site's not as big, but I got like 7,000 followers on there. So yeah, so it's kind of funny. I got 7,000 followers as this thing died. Yeah, 7,000 followers on Tumblr. So yeah, for whatever that's worth. All right, I had some questions I'm gonna get into. I'm excited to talk about. There's the book right there. Ignore that. Let me see if I can find the actual questions. Okay, here we go right here. All right, this is a really good question. I'm going to spend some time on this one. This first one. I got a ton of questions that I've got lined up here. I'll try to go through each one. This is kind of what I do week over week to engage with you guys. I want to keep this like a two-way conversation where, you're asking somebody who's on the inside of this field, who's been doing this for a long time, and I'm here to answer your questions. So first one is, they said, this one's about working remotely, specifically in the Philippines. I could speak on this one for sure. So Mike says, just wanted to touch bases with you real quick. I've been following your YouTube channel for some time. I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you so much. While I don't do IT, your videos on working remotely, specifically in the Philippines for a U.S. company, as an American, this is exactly what I've been looking for information on. He says his wife lives in the Philippines, and we have been separated since COVID. Oh man, that's a long time. And he says, I'm ready to sell my house and services. I assume he means in the U.S. to move over to the Philippines. So this guy's trying to be an expat. He's going to sell his house and his business, home services business, and then live there. And he's asking, okay, is there anything I should use? A VPN router, or or to appear that I'm in the U.S. Okay, he's asking if he needs to use a VPN or a router or something to appear like he's in the U.S. working remotely from the Philippines, but he wants to look like he's working from Georgia, for example. What's funny is I had this exact same idea. I thought, I'm just going to tell you a story here. So a few years ago, I was working for the federal government, and I was about to be. They were gonna let me go, so I had like, I don't know, a few weeks left or something like that, and I knew my days were numbered. Like, that was it. We got a new contract, and then my contract, we lost our contract, and then another company's coming in, and that was it. So they were letting us go, and I already knew this. So I wanted to take my vacation. I had vacation saved up already before I knew that the contract was gonna. So I was gonna go on my vacation no matter what. And so I went on my vacation, and I went to Vietnam. All right. So I went to Vietnam, and I had a federal laptop. This is a true story. This is a true story. And I was wondering, like, damn, what if I get caught? Like, can I even go to Vietnam? Like, is that a country that I'm allowed to go through to with my laptop? And I was nervous. And I was talking to my friends about VPNs and stuff. Like, some of my sharper technical friends, I was like, hey man, like, if I use this VPN, is there anything I can do to fake out the, okay, turns out I was worried about the wrong thing. You don't need to worry about a VPN router or anything like that. You don't have to worry about that. I was in Vietnam with a government laptop working remotely, and I had no problems. I had good internet. There were other problems I'm going to talk to you about that you need to be aware of. Number one is compliance. If you go work for a American company, okay, I can't speak for Canada, I can't speak for UK on this one. If you work for an American company, that company is going to have policies, okay? They have a policy, especially if it's a high-level company. And so you'd be surprised. Like, most countries you can work, you can actually do this. They're not going to block your router, your VPN or whatever, because, oh man, this thing's coming from Vietnam or whatever. No, that's not how it works. There's certain countries you can't go to. And what I did before I left is I talked directly to HR. And I said, look, which countries, I know that there's some countries I can't go to as an American, at certain technologies I can't take. Can you tell me which countries I can go to and which ones I can't? So that brings up something called, let me see if I hope I freaking, ITAR. All right, so ITAR it's an international, oh man, what does it stand for? What does it, I just want to know what, okay, International Traffic in Arms Regulations. Okay, now you're thinking about weapons, guns, stuff like that. No, it doesn't just apply to munitions and stuff. So there's certain other things that are not allowed to go outside the U.S. You need to know. I'm just gonna boil it down for you really fast. There's certain countries that you're not gonna be able to take your laptop to, especially if it's a government laptop or if it's a Fortune 500 laptop, because they work for State Department and governments and stuff like that. And there's certain things that they're not allowed to do. Like, legally, they can be held liable if you go to Italy and your laptop gets stolen in another country. Man, that is a nightmare. You got to report it. That thing might show up somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So then that's your laptop. It's got your name all over it. Okay, so so what I did was I went to HR department and I said, listen, which countries can't I go to? Are there any countries? I didn't tell them, oh, by the way, I'm going to Vietnam. Like, I didn't say that. I just said, hey, can you tell me which countries? Because if Vietnam was on that list, I wasn't going to go, period. And then they sent me a list of all the countries that I'm not allowed to go to, period. Like, I'm not allowed to go through with their stuff, obviously. And let me just show you the list, okay? Because, so look at this. ITAR, it's not just government organizations. It's companies working with defense contractors, working now. Obviously, if you're 100% private, if you're working for a 100% private organization, had nothing to do with government, military, none of that stuff, then you have to worry about this less, but it's still something you should think about, because HR department may have a list of places that they don't want their equipment going. They don't want their laptop going. They don't want their phone going. They don't want any of that stuff going. If you're working remotely, they normally give you a laptop. They'll give you they give you equipment. They give you a laptop. They give you a phone. They give you something, like some kind of fob or something, badges, things like that. Though sometimes they don't want they're not allowed to have their stuff go into these other countries. And let me just give you an idea of what those countries look like. So here's some of the countries that have some sort of embargo from the US. Here it is right here. This is coming directly off of a government site. This, you don't have to worry about the VPN. That's the last thing you need to worry about when you're traveling, when you're working for an American company, working overseas, whether it be Middle East or wherever you're going, right? What you got to worry about is their policies. And here's some of the countries that have an embargo from the U.S. Now, regardless of what your political affiliation or whether you think there should be an embargo, that's irrelevant. You have to think about yourself. Like, individually, can I be held liable if I go to Cuba, which I've always wanted to go to, and then I'm with my laptop and shit, and I turn around to drink some coffee, and my laptop's gone. Or worse, I leave my laptop because I'm taking a break, and I leave my laptop in my room, my 5-star hotel room. I go swimming with my girlfriend or my friends or whatever, go drinking out, partying. I come back at night. Next morning, my laptop's not there. I locked it up. Where is it? Oh no. Like, what am I going to do? My laptop from a government agency got stolen in Cuba. But do you want to be that guy? Do you want to be that guy? You do not want to be that guy. Don't be that guy. Do not look at the policies. That's the first thing you should do. Look at the policies of places that you cannot go. Okay? And don't go to those places. Do not go to those. Do not take their equipment to those places. And if you're in this dude said he wants to go to the Philippines, obviously it's not on this list. But the one thing you want to do is make sure that the company's policies don't restrict you from working from another country. In fact, the more forthcoming you can be with them, the better, because then the other thing on the list that I'm about to tell you won't be as much of an issue. The other thing on the list is the time zone difference. The two big things that came up wasn't the VPN. It was the policies. It was the time zone difference, which is self-explanatory. And the last one, oddly enough, was noise pollution. It was so damn loud in Vietnam. I'm so glad I didn't get called in on any meetings or anything like that, because it was absolutely loud. And I was in a nice hotel. I was in the middle of a city or something, so they just have all these scooters all over the place, and they don't have no discipline on the scooters are everywhere, and they're just very loud. And it just, I don't know if they make the material out of something thinner or something there. I don't know, but it was very loud. And to do a remote job, you really need good internet, and you need a quiet space where you have privacy. And I did not have a quiet space. It was private, but it wasn't. So those three things. And then the one thing that you don't anticipate, that I'm sure you're like, whatever, is the time zone difference. Because in the Philippines, it's a 14-hour difference. So when it's day there, it's night here, and vice versa sometimes. Like, it's 14-hour difference. Like right now, it's 12:40 Mountain Standard Time here now. In the Philippines, it's, help me out, somebody from the Philippines. What time is it now? It's, 3 a.m. there or something? It's the time zone. Like, if I'm working at 12:43 p.m., middle of the day during lunchtime, in the Philippines, it's 3 a.m. That means I'm working at 3 a.m. It sounds like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's hard. It is difficult, especially if you work long shifts. It's difficult. It's hard on the body. You get used to it after a while, but it's just like when you first do it, it's crazy. So those are the three things. VPN, you don't have to worry about that. When you get in the job, when you get this, and you can get a job now more than ever, it's easier than ever to get a remote position and work somewhere else. The thing you want to, when you're doing the interview, you want to interview them and make sure that they don't have any restrictions on travel. And it's 100% remote. That's another thing. Make sure the job is 100% remote with no travel, because sometimes a lot of the companies I get, offers I get, opportunities I get, they'll say, oh, it's 100% remote, but it's 35% travel. That means I'm working from my house most of the time, but they want me to go to Georgia to run a scan or something. If I'm in the Philippines, that means I got to fly back to the U.S. just to do a scan and then fly back. and then they're not going to pay for that. I'm not to pay for that. So that's another thing. You're getting a job. Look at their policies. Make sure they don't have any travel or anything like that. Make sure that there's no restrictions on traveling outside of the state, because sometimes it's not even in the country, it's in the state. They're like, we only want people to work remotely in the state of Georgia or something. It's dumb, but that's what they'll do. Like Texas, I've gotten a couple jobs offers from Texas. Like, we want only people from Texas to work remotely. It's like, why are you making it remote then? But yeah, look at their policies. The other thing is make sure you can handle the time difference. And then the other thing is noise pollution, especially in Southeast Asia, man. There's so much noise there, like compared to here. It's just like something that people don't really talk about. But the noise pollution in Southeast Asia in particular is so much different than here. Like, it's definitely a factor. So those are the things that I would worry about the most. And on another topic, let me go back to this. Let me go back to this question. Okay, so he said he's wondering about the VPN thing. I think we already talked about that. That's really not, the VPN thing won't be an issue. There's other things that are issues. On the first part of this video, I'll talk about it. So the other thing I would say about this is getting a job. How do you find the actual remote positions? And it's easier than ever to find remote jobs where you could do something like this. Like right now, I have the ability to do this. And the reason why is I've just been doing this for years. Like, I've positioned myself to where I can work overseas full time. Right now, this is crazy, but I can literally work. Oh, I could be living in the Philippines. I could be living in the Philippines right now, working at a six-figure job. Crazy as it sounds, as I say it, it sounds crazy to me. And the reason why that is possible is because I have the ability to get a remote job easy, and I have more than one stream of income. So if you're interested in doing something like this, working in another country, it's very, very possible. I have a course that walks you through how to find remote jobs and how to position yourself. Like, it might not be for you. Like, I know how to do this. So if you're interested, go to ConvoCourses, look for a course that I made called Finding Remote IT Jobs. Because of the way I position myself, 90% of the jobs that are offered to me, not 90, probably 60% of the jobs that get offered to me are remote positions because of how I did it. And if you're interested, let me show you. Go to ConvoCourses. Let me see if I can find it. Go to ConvoCourses. Here's one where I'm telling you how to market yourself with a cybersecurity IT. I'm just telling you exactly what I've been doing for the last 6 years now. I just put it all in a course. And then the other one, if you want to just focus on remote jobs, you already know how to market yourself and stuff. You're okay with that. Is this one right here? Working remotely in finding IT remote jobs. There's more than ever right now. You could totally do this. And this is me in Thailand. And then this is me in Philippines working remotely. Where else did I go? This is the video where I was actually in Vietnam. I don't know if I recorded that. It's been a while since I did this video. That's Thailand again. But yeah, this trip, I went to Thailand, I went to Philippines, and I went to Vietnam. It was great, man. My wife was there, my ex-wife, my partner, my business partner was there with me. Man, we had a great time, man. It was awesome. And I was working my job. So I know how to do this. And now, guess what? I'm going again in like a week. I'm going to 3 different countries next week in 10 days. I'm going to 3 countries in 10 days. I'll probably make some videos from there, hopefully. Do you have to be experienced in the field, or can you be a junior remote work as well? Yeah, you can. So that's what I want to talk about. It's a great question, Marcel. So you don't have to be a senior level position. You do need some level of experience. You don't have to have 10 years of experience. I know what you mean. Like, a lot of people hit me up about this, and no. So here's the thing. You have to market. I'll just show you. Let me show you what I do. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. Okay, first of all, let me show you my course. All right, so my course talks about why I love to work remotely. It's got a bunch of notes and stuff like here, but ton of videos also. Requirements of working remotely, who hires, like some employers, and what else did I talk about? Experience in how to do the interview, and actual job searches. Okay, I'm gonna add more to this course for sure, because now I'm literally about to go overseas again and do this again on a whole different level. But let me show you something else that's super valuable, and I'll show you live what I do. Okay, let me see. Where is it? It is called, it's marketing yourself. This right here, this is my best course. I don't get a lot of purchases on it, but everybody who takes it gets some crazy offers, because the way I just wrote down everything I do, and how I approach each job, how I'm able to get so many opportunities, even when the economy's bad. I've been getting jobs even in 2008, even in this current bad economy. I'm still getting a crazy amount of job offers. That's why I post them. I'll just post them online, because I don't need them. Like, I can't possibly work them all. So I'll just post them on, if you follow me on TikTok, I'm literally posting the jobs people send to me. Now some of them are like 10 years or whatever, but not all of them are. Like, there's one the other day. This one's 5 years. I mean, 5 to 8 years. Okay, that's a lot. But look, let me show you one. Let me see if I can find it. There's 100K work from home. This one's no joke. That's probably like 5, 6, 7 years. There's one that was a help desk, and I'm looking for it right now. I got so many of these out that I kind of lost track. But if you go through these, you'll see a remote help desk one. And I'm not seeing it right now. But go to my TikTok, and there's a remote help desk. I guarantee it's not no 15 years. So I'm on TikTok, on ConvoCourses. That's where I put it. Go ahead and go check that out. There are remote positions that you can find. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So it's all about the algorithm. I mean, as I'm saying it, you know it's true. It's all about the algorithm. And on LinkedIn, Indeed.com, even Google, they all use an algorithm to find people to position you. And so when these recruiters go on the site, when these recruiters go out, let me just sign in real quick. When these recruiters go on these sites, they're using that algorithm to their advantage. You know what I mean? So what you have to do is position yourself correctly for that algorithm, so that you can take full advantage of that algorithm. And I want to show you what I'm talking about here in a second. Give me a second here. Let me sign in. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about live. Here is how I'm able to position myself. And I'm going to show you with LinkedIn, but I use several different sites. Okay, this is my profile on LinkedIn. I've been building it for some time. I got like 1,000 followers or something like that. But you don't have to have a crazy ass profile like this. I start off with nobody followed me. But that said, what you do is you got to fill this thing completely out. This is your profile on LinkedIn. If your profile is not filled completely in, don't pay anybody yet. Fill this thing completely out. Everything, everything that's in here, fill it all out. All your experience, put that out there. All your education, if you have any, put that in there. All your certifications going all the way back to the beginning, put those in there. Your skills, fill that out. It's going to take you some time. Give yourself a few hours, like take a half a day, and that's all you do is fill this thing out. Fill it out. Now, before you start, one of the things you need to research is your field. If you, let's say you happen to be in cyber, let's say help desk. Let's say you're a help desk professional. And see how it's little things like this. Let me show you. I just typed in help desk. It's helping me out here. It's already telling me some of the keywords. There's help desk technician, help desk analyst, help desk specialist, help desk support, help desk manager, right? It's telling you, here's the things that are hottest on this particular search engine. Let's say technician. So you might not have ever held this role. You might have been help desk support, but that's actually very equivalent and very close to a technician. So sometimes, like with these organizations, what they'll do is they kind of mix and match the title. So don't get hung up on the actual title. Like if your role was a help desk support or customer support doing IT or something like that, that's basically help desk. So you just want to find something that's equivalent and has the proper keyword for LinkedIn. That keyword is going to work on Google. It's going to work on Indeed. It's going to work on Dice. It's going to work on all of them. That being said, you want to do keyword search on each platform because each one has its own algorithm that they're using, but they're very similar. Okay, so now we just typed in help desk technician. Now, let me show you something. Let's find more keywords. Let's say it's help desk technician 5 with a TS. This is probably not one we want. If you don't have a TS, you would want to skip this one and go to something else. But we just kind of want to see what they're asking for. Like what kinds of things do these guys want? And we're going to line our resume up with the job descriptions. Obviously, we're not trying to lie and put our stuff out there if it's not true. If we never installed and modified, repaired computer hardware, software, both in person and using remote access tools, we don't want to lie and say we did this, right? But this right here, if you've ever done any of this, you want to use their wording because 9 times out of 10, this same job description is going to be on 50 or 60 others. And when the job recruiters go and search, they're going to be looking for this type of stuff. We want somebody they're going to type in remote tool access tools or something like that. Because the thing is, the HR departments that are looking for you, the technical screeners that are looking for you, they don't know your job. They're just looking off of what the requirements say. An employer gives them an HR guy the requirements. It looks something like this. It looks exactly like this, as a matter of fact. And then that guy says, what do we need? They're going to use the words that are on this document. So all you're doing is lining yourself up with the sauce of the day, help desk technician. That's all you're doing to trick the algorithm into choosing you. What do I mean by that? When you put your resume out, when they search for it, it's going to pop up on LinkedIn. If you have to be on LinkedIn, obviously, you got to fill out your profile. Obviously, you're going to pop up on LinkedIn. You're going to pop up on Indeed. You're going to pop up on Dice. You got to be on all those platforms. And you're going to pop up right over here. Let me show you. So these are all the jobs, but here's what you need to see. The actual people with those jobs actually pop up in here as well. If you type in help desk, you will see actual people's resumes pop up. They're using the same search engine that we're using. Those jobs, those people will pop up in here. And I think what's happened is that there's so many that I'm not seeing them right now. Oh, here we go. Watch this. People. This is what HR departments and technical recruiters do. They'll type in help desk technician, and then they're going to look for people. They don't want jobs. They already got jobs. They're looking for people. So they're going to type people, and boom. If you filled out your resume, if you have filled it completely out, if you've put the keywords in there, you will pop up. And what will happen is they will reach out to you. They will come to you. Now, that's not to say that you don't want to apply for some of the jobs. Absolutely. You want to do both. You want to market yourself, put yourself out there, fill out the entire thing, look for keywords, all that kind of stuff. Have a dope resume, have a tight resume, and then they're going to look for you, and then you also want to look for those jobs. But let's look at this guy's resume. So Kimo is a help desk technician at General Dynamics. That's where they currently work. Look at their resume here. Look at their experience. It's all filled out. What you'll notice is that the people who don't normally pop up on LinkedIn, on Indeed, on blah, 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 Dice, whatever, jobs.com, their stuff's not filled out. It's not filled out properly. It's not complete. This guy's, look at this. It's all filled out. It's completely filled out, right? They've got the experience in here. They've got the skills, the education. They've got everything filled out in this thing, right? Now, if you don't have a good resume, whole nother conversation, but in my course I talk about things you can do to put that stuff in your resume, and if you're interested in that, go to ConvoCourses.com and go ahead and check that out. There's some free stuff on there as well. You can also go to TikTok, follow me there. Most of my resume stuff that's free, if you want free stuff, is on YouTube, and I'm starting to put more stuff on Facebook. So yeah, follow me over there. All right, so let me see. I've got a couple people before I go to the next set of questions. Somebody said remote jobs require someone who is very independent and not someone who would need a lot of guidance. Man, that SS says it right. I mean, that's perfect. So one of the things that is not talked to, everybody wants a remote job, but you don't realize that there's another challenge with having a remote job. And that challenge is that you have to be self-directed. You got to be very independent. You got to have a lot of self-discipline. And that's why a lot of times when you have an interview with somebody who's looking for somebody to work remotely, they'll ask you if you've worked remotely before, because they want to know that you have the discipline to do it. And if you haven't worked remotely before, you want to say, you want to ease their concerns. You want to say something like, let's say I'm the interviewer. Okay, I'm going to play both parts here. One, interviewer says, okay, Mr. SS, so I see that you have the skills to be a help desk technician. Now, you know that this job is 100% remote, right? Have you worked remotely before? Here's your answer. And let's say you haven't. Let's say you've never worked remotely before, but you want to ease their concerns because they're just wondering, like, does this guy have the self-discipline it takes to do? You can say something like this. No, sir, I have not worked remotely before. However, I am very self-directed. When I am working in the department, I don't need any guidance. I know I go overboard. One of the flaws I have is I tend to work until that job is done. I'm very independent, and I'm anxious to do this work. I know I can work even more effective if I'm working remotely. Boom. You want to make their concerns irrelevant. Like, you don't have to worry about me. I know what I'm doing. Not only am I gonna do this, I'm gonna do this like nobody else has done it before. You got to promote yourself. And so when they're asking these questions, they're trying to see if you're a right pick for them, but at the same time, you need to see if they're a right pick for you. So, and that goes for remote jobs too. So, all right, let me see if I have any other questions here. I do have a whole list of questions I want to go through. And it's 1 o'clock. This is normally when I do my session. All right, I'm just bringing up my new set of questions here. Bear with me, guys. I've been going at this for about since 12:30, and so I've been answering questions and stuff. All right, so here we are here, and somebody said that stress in cybersecurity is good. It's good for you. It heightens your and advances your minds, improves your skills, improves your social interpersonal skills, improves communication, improves understanding, intellect, intelligence, especially on calls or fast-paced environments. You learn how to become a better human. You just need to master your emotions using logic, being more rational. You can handle stress if you know how to master your emotions, aka not letting externalities affect your internalities. Wow, that's very well put. I would say that is absolutely true. I would say that doing cybersecurity has definitely sharpened me as a human. It's given me a lot more confidence. Basically, I was thrust into positions where I had to be more confident. And I can say that going all the way back to the first time I ever did any security, I was a security guard for the Air Force. I was in the Air Force, and my first job in security was a security guard. I did it for 5 years. I learned the UCMJ, U.S. Code of Military Justice. I learned how to protect all kinds of assets, including nuclear weapons. I learned all kinds of weapons. I was proficient, not so much anymore, on several different weapons, rifles, M9s, all kinds of stuff. And they forced you to have confidence. They would put you in a position where you would have to conduct a briefing one-on-one with a colonel or a general. And I was a one-striper. I was a 19-year-old kid, and they were putting me in a position where I have to know my stuff so well that I have to perform on the. And then the thing is, sometimes there's things at stake. Like I was 19, 20 protecting the nuclear weapons. Like I had to have my stuff together, and then they just train you and train you and train you until you know what you're doing. And in cybersecurity, you have to be multidisciplinary. Like you have to know a little bit about networking, a little bit about firewalls, a little bit about IPS, IDS, a little bit about cyber analysis. Like you got to know ports, protocols, procedures. You got to know a little bit about physical security. And if you don't know it, you got to go learn it. Like if you have to go talk to the physical security guys about a restricted area that has to have a camera pointed in this direction or that direction, you might have to get smart on that real quick. You got to, okay, what kind of system do we have? Look it up. You have to go deep dive into that, figure it out real quick. Okay, all right, it's a castle system. Where the recording's going. It says we're recording stuff here, but where are we keeping those for 3 months, right? You have to actually read up on I have to Google half the stuff that's going on. I have to Google it, and then I got to go further. I'm like, okay, what policies do we have on this particular castle system, whatever new product of the day or service they have? I got to research it, and then on the internet, right? Bing, Google, whatever, going to the actual vendor site from time to time. Then I got to say, okay, how are we, this organization, how are we implementing this? I got to learn it. I got to go through the policies, their procedures, talk to people. How are we doing this? And then I can talk to the subject matter experts. So it's like 2 hours of research just to talk to a dude for 10 minutes. So that's what happens. Cybersecurity is multidisciplinary. So we have to know all this stuff. So yeah, I would say that this statement here is true, where he's saying it heightens, advances the mind, makes you, and then of course emotionally you got to be together, because you've got to present this stuff in front of a C-level exec, a manager, a technical guy, the customer. You've got to be able to switch gears at a moment's notice and do that stuff. So yeah, it's difficult, but it definitely makes you stronger, has made me stronger, has made me better at doing what I do, helping people out, teaching, all that kind of stuff. All right, let me get to the next question. If you guys have any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to jump in there and ask or add to the conversation. I'm all ears. If you guys didn't know, by the way, this is a community. If you want to join this, it doesn't stop when I stop this. You can go and talk to people in the community by going to Discord. I got a Discord. It's in the link description below. You can go to follow us on Facebook. We have a growing group that I'm going to start putting unique content on that group, so join it early. I've got a group on the site. You can sign up for free on ConvoCourses.com and join us. This is a conversation about security, compliance, PCI, DSS, NIST 800, ISO 27001, ISO, all the ISOs, all that stuff. This is a community where we share thoughts. So that's first and foremost. All right, let me see. What's the next question? Somebody's asking me about reverse search engine, reverse image search. And they're saying it's not working. I'll do that later. I know that works. Okay, somebody said, outside of the CISSP, what certs will lead you down the path of being an ISSE? I already answered this one on TikTok, but I want to take this a little bit deeper. I want to just follow me. If you happen to be on your phone, on your computer, check this out. Okay. If you type in, what is it? Security, progression. What I typed in was Security Progression Chart 2022. This chart right here, I went over this like a week or so ago. This chart is amazing by Paul. Jeremy, Paul, if you ever watch this, man, hats off to you, man. This is a magnificent work of art that I've been using to teach people and to show people different paths of their career path. What you're looking at here, all these little dots and all these colors and stuff, this is a progression chart that shows you, breaks down not only what levels of certs you can have here, but also where these certs sit, whether it's a software security cert or a security operations cert or any of that stuff. So this is a great breakdown of this question here. Somebody said, outside of CISSP, what certs should I use to get an ISSE? And I'm just going to tell you from my experience. I'm just going to show you this here real quick. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I want to make this screen a little bit bigger, so just bear with me. And I see you guys' questions popping up here. I appreciate you. Just give me a second here. I want to follow this thing through. I want to make this a little bit big. Man, can I make this bigger on the screen instead of messing around with my... No, doesn't look like I can. Okay. Yeah, keep the questions coming, guys. I'll get to it in a second. And then bear with me. Let me make this screen big. I really want you to see this. So I'm going to make this screen bigger and then switch it over here in a second. Give me 1 second here. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, that's a little bit better. But check this out. This is a work of freaking art, man. So they said, their question was, how can I be an ISSE using something other than the CISSP? Everybody knows CISSP, you get that, and those give you the keys to the castle, let you be an information security engineer or whatever, right? But there's a couple of other certs here that you could get. Like the CASP is one of those. Right here, this CASP Plus from CompTIA, excellent certification. Friend of mine got it. He said it was very difficult. One of the smartest humans I've ever met in technology. So that guy, if he says it's hard, then it's freaking impossible. So, yeah. So this is a good certification, and I've seen a lot of guys who were information system security engineers have this one. Another one, which I think that they're not doing it justice, kind of low on the list here, but this one right here, okay, it's kind of getting cut off here. Give me a second here. Let me just move this over. And the one I want to tell you about is the CISA. CISA is a highly respected certification. It's very popular. We're looking here for high-level certifications, or at least professional-level certifications. And here it is right here. The CISA, high-level certifications for information system security engineering that are known to people like the the HR department or other recruiters, because they know this is a high-level cert and you got to know your stuff in order to get this certification. And they kind of put it low on the totem pole here. Another thing you're looking for is security and risk management type certifications. These ones right here, or security assessment train, like any of these will do. These ones right here, or risk management. Oh wait, hold on. Let me move the map a little bit so you can see what I'm seeing here. These right here. These right here. See this? See how they break it down? So an engineer, a security engineer, these guys are doing. So a security engineer, they're not just doing documentation, okay? They're sitting in on meetings that are going to determine the direction of a new system's boundaries, right? That means that you have to know a lot about networking. That means you have to know enough to basically, you don't have to be able to put together a Cisco, change the routes on the Cisco, put in IP chains or reconfigure a router or anything like that. But you got to know enough to where you can, if there's a certain vulnerability, if they put this configuration versus this other configuration, certain vulnerabilities on the external side of the network. You know the difference between the vulnerabilities on an external system versus a DMZ system versus an internal system. So you know the differences and where things should sit. You know the differences between different IP ranges. You got to know, like, I would say you got to be pretty deep on networking and pretty deep on vulnerabilities and threats that are currently happening in this space. You got to know a combination we're talking about information security engineer. We're not talking about help desk. We're not talking about being super deep on one thing like the firewall. We're talking about a person who's looking at the big picture. And so that for that reason, these certifications here, security and risk management, you have to have a very broad knowledge of security, and they're not going to look for somebody with a very little amount of experience. Usually, I mean, you could probably land a job like that, but it's going to be a little harder. But anyway, so security assessment training and testing. So another certification would be, I said CASP, I said CRISC, I said CISA, but CRISC is another one. That's a good one. And then let me just find one more other one. CAP, I would say CAP is good if you're only doing documentation stuff. Like if the organization just really needs to know NIST 800, like they have to they're on, like, let's say ISO 27001 or some Australian standard or something, and they want to line themselves up to NIST 800, then yeah, CAP would be awesome for that. You would want a person who does CAP. So yeah, those are the certifications that I would recommend for ISSE. There's a couple other ones on here that would be really good, but those are like probably the main ones you'd want to get if you're looking for an ISSE position. Okay, let me see. I got some questions here. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Sorry, my cat is here, man. This is really live, and I forgot to shut my door, so you know what? Okay, let me hold on a second. Give me a second here. Give me 1 second. I gotta get this guy out of here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Let's go. Sorry about that, man. This is a one-man show. This is a one-man show. Oh, man. Okay, anyway. All right, I got some questions here. Let me see. I'm going all the way to the top to Spades93. He says, "Hi, Bruce. I'm currently 2 years into a cybersecurity specialty in SecOps, security operations. I'm looking into branching out into vendor-specific services like ServiceNow. Might you have any tips for success?" Let me tell you some of the challenges of Spades. As soon as I think of vendor-specific stuff, I think of my own experience with this. I just want to tell you, there's nothing wrong with vendor-specific certifications. They're absolutely great. I would say they're really great if you happen to already be in the organization and they have ServiceNow. Because And the reason why I say that is because a lot of organizations won't have, they'll be using something else. And you say, so far I'm doing all right. I just made it to the 80s, but I'm looking to pick up maybe a third shift for help desk or ServiceNow administration. Okay, yeah, then go for it, man. Go if you're actually looking for a position for that that's going to have that. Yeah, absolutely go for that. I just want to tell you some of the challenges, because I currently have a few. I don't ever mention them, but I have several vendor specific certifications, and I'll just name a few. I've had the Cisco certification before. That's vendor specific. I had a CCNA, vendor specific. I have Oracle certification, deep, the lowest level that they have. I have oh man, they're not listed here on this list, but I have a couple for ArcSight. I was really deep on ArcSight for a few years. Really, really deep, to where I could tear it apart and put it all back together and write the code for it and everything. And then all of a sudden it's gone. But I'll talk about that in a second. Vendor levels for let me see. I got Recorded Future, a couple of those from my previous employer. I got oh man, I know I'm forgetting a couple. I got a couple for man. What's that one? Oh man, damn it! It's a scanning. It's not Nessus. Anyway, I got a scanning one. I got a few industry vendor specific. I got a Microsoft one and a couple other ones. I don't know. It's a lot. So one of the bad things about industry level certs, and I'm not telling you not to get them. They're definitely incredible for going super deep. But the bad thing is that they move a lot. I'll give you a specific example. Like ArcSight. I was really deep on ArcSight. I had 2 or 3 different ArcSight certifications, man. I could tear it apart and I could put it back together and I could load their software on it and then I could have it running for a large organization. Like I had to, because I was in an environment where I had to learn it. Like we were literally doing it for a large organization, and I had the actual support team from ArcSight there and all that stuff. The problem is ArcSight. Where's ArcSight now? Where could it possibly be? I'm looking all over for it. Where is it? I spent a lot of money getting that certification. I got so much experience. Where could it be? It's gone. It's gone. It got bought a couple times. It got destroyed by Splunk. It's washed up, man. Like it's freaking gone. Now I can get hired from like Splunk probably. Splunk would probably reach out and say, hey, I see ArcSight on here. Would you be interested in doing our SIEM? Because those are both they were competing products at one time. But a Splunk, if an organization is looking for a SIEM guy and they have Splunk, they're going to look for a dude who does Splunk. They're not looking for so that's one of the challenges, is that they move around too much. They change to where I remember actually another thing that happened in ArcSight. This is crazy, but right after I learned, it used to be built on Oracle. So exclusively on Oracle database, and then they changed the entire architecture of ArcSight to where it's no longer using Oracle. It was built on their own proprietary database. So that was more stuff I had to learn. Like, damn, Then they got beat out by the market. And I'm not saying that's going to happen with ServiceNow, and I'm not telling you not to get them. You should definitely. I'm just telling you the pros and cons of certs. The pros of industry level certs is that you can go super deep on one thing and you'll be in high demand while that product is hot. So yeah, you'll be super, and then they'll pay you a whole bunch of money for that. Like that ServiceNow, I'm sure that's hot. And then the cons though is that they change so often. I mean, it changes really. The industry level certs change way faster than the ones that are they're non-industry specific, like CISSP. That changes like every 3-4 years, maybe every 5 years, sometimes longer. The CASP is not vendor specific. The C-Risk not vendor specific. The C-Risk not all of the GCIA courses, highly recommended. All those, they're not gendered vendor specific. So though that's the pros and cons of each one. But ServiceNow, if they're like aiming directly for that, because that's what I was doing with ArcSight, I was getting all those certifications. It's like, man, when I move from this position, I'm gonna go and get in that, and it worked. Like it worked for like one job, like one hop. It worked. I had ArcSight. I put it on my resume. I put it on the top. Said, I did this. I did that with it. I did this. I know how to do this, that. I put it on my resume. And then a couple people like, hey, do you want to come over here and work for us doing ArcSight? We have an ArcSight system. And I went there, and I was doing a little bit of ArcSight, like whenever they had ArcSight stuff. But then they were having me doing all this other security stuff, which was fine because they were paying me. So, so that's all. I would say, I would highly recommend it. But the pros and the cons, just be aware it's going to change quite a bit. I wouldn't hang your entire career on those certifications because they change too fast. Let me see. Another question. Can someone balance two jobs in cybersecurity to venture into a six-figure? I think I know what you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying, can you do two jobs in cybersecurity? Yeah. Okay. So I've done this before. I did this before. I was working remotely, and then I was working two jobs remotely full time. Nightmare. It was a nightmare. I will not do that again. So yes, you can. You got to make sure that you're not there's no legal issues. Make sure there's no conflict of interest. Like you're not working for Verizon and T-Mobile or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Or you're working for, you know what I mean? Like, or you're not working for, something's not going to get me in trouble. You're not working for, I don't know, the government, let's say, the Department of Defense, but also Northrop Grumman. Right, Northrop Grumman has contracts with the Department of Defense, but now you're working as a GS in the Department of Defense. It's a conflict of interest potentially, so you can't do that. There's certain things that you cannot do, so you have to do like two different industries. Number one, like they have to be completely separate things. Doing security for a bank and a security for Department of Labor or something, like two totally different things. This is and maybe the same firewall, whatever, but two totally different things. All right, like there's no conflict of interest in there. Like you got to make sure that that's not happening, because if you get caught, that's no bueno. For some organizations don't care. Like they're like, cool, like I don't care, just get my stuff done. You know what I mean? Like they don't really care, but some really do care, and especially if there's a conflict of interest, because you can get them legally in trouble for that. So that's one thing. The other thing is pros. Man, the money's really good, of course. Like the money is outstanding, You're going to make like $2,000, $3,000, $100,000 a year, some stupid number. You got job security. If one fires you, you still got employment. That's good. Cons. You're going to work yourself to death, man. When I was doing it, it was very, and in cybersecurity, it's very stressful. Like sometimes we'd have bad days. We'd have a day where there was a breach or some customer is having problems or something like that, and it's a nightmare. Like what will happen is, I don't know what is going on with the universe or whatever, but how stuff happens. Have you ever noticed, like when you go into like a Subways and everybody goes in there at once? You ever notice that? Like a flock of birds. Like you just happen to like, I want to go to Subways and eat a sandwich or wherever, right? I want to go to Denny's and eat something. And then all of a sudden there's a line. All of a sudden, have you ever noticed that pattern? I don't know. It's like a flock of birds. It's like something's going on. It's law of averages. I don't know, but there's something where everybody does everything. It's the same thing with these freaking issues. Like what would happen is there'd be an issue over here, and then at the same time there'd be an issue over here at the other company. Like at the same time, like what is going on? What is happening? So it's cool if one is calm and one is chaotic, or one is chaotic, whatever, right? Company B is calm, company A is chaotic. But that, it would happen from time to time, but sometimes it'd be both of them are chaotic and both of them are having some crazy thing happening. So I don't recommend it at all. It's terrible. I did it a long time ago, and I will never do that again because it's just not worth my time. It's not worth it. I was working 24/7. I was working on the weekends to get the reports done. I was working on. It was crazy. It was crazy. And at the time, I got lucky because I had two jobs that didn't have a lot of work. They were both jobs where it wasn't a lot of work. Like recently, the last job I had, it was chaos. There's no way I could have done two jobs with that job. I wasn't even thinking about that. It was not the furthest thing from my mind. But previously, like years and years ago, I did it at the same time, and both of them were kind of mellow. But every now and then, they just get chaotic. So to answer your question, you can do it. Do I recommend it? Absolutely not. Don't just get one good job and just do your best on that one good job. If you want to side money, like do something else, man. Do something totally. Do something on the weekends, or make your hobby make money or something like that. That's kind of what instead of doing two jobs, what I started doing was I would just moonlight my own business, and it worked. Starts bringing in a few $1,000s, and another amazing thing that I did was I have multiple streams of income. And what that has allowed me to do is have more stability in my life. Like when the economy gets hit, now don't get it twisted, man. I get wrecked just like everybody else at the gas pumps, you know what I mean? Or whatever, right? Like I'm feeling it, but at the same time, if you have multiple streams, it's like less stress. And a business doesn't always go well. Like business is like volatile. You don't never know what is going to happen, or if you're going to get sales or what. You just never know. It could go really good one month and then like really bad in a couple more months or something. But that side income really helps out, and it's totally different from your actual job. It just gives you way more stability, and that's what I've found. Like I started doing, and maybe one day I'll make some content about this, but I started doing real estate. For a little bit, I was doing like stocks and cryptocurrency. I still do a little bit on the side and stuff, but it just doesn't do I don't put as much time into it. And then I have like a couple side businesses, legit businesses that bring in a few $1,000s a month or whatever, and require me to have meetings and stuff with people and all that kind of stuff. All of those little streams of income help me to where I don't have to rely so heavily on my job. And my theory is in very shortly, everybody's going to have to do something like this, like what I'm doing, and have multiple streams of income. What I call it is octopus style income. You have 8 arms reaching out into all these different areas. Like this podcast right here, this thing I'm doing, this is a side hustle for me. Like I do this on the weekend. I've been really hustling lately on it. I'm trying to make this my full-time gig. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm probably going to have to go get a job in a couple months. Like I don't know. You never know a business, but it does bring in some revenue to where it's like, okay, that's not bad. I don't recommend another job in cybersecurity. I recommend a couple side hustles, something like that. And a lot of the cybersecurity guys I know, when I talk to them personally, they all have a side hustle, man. They all have one. They have something. Like I knew one dude's doing like NFTs on the side and doing pretty good at it. I knew another dude, he's running a whole business on the side, working for a company. I know myself, I can't tell, I'm doing the same thing, or was doing the same thing. Damn, I know so many people doing hot side hustles, and that's what I would recommend instead of doing 2 different jobs where you're 9 to 5 on 2 different jobs. Crazy, man. That's insane. Okay, let me see here. Got some more questions. Holy crap. Okay, I got a couple here. Monopoly says, I got offered a cybersecurity degree apprenticeship with a company where I work for them, and they pay my cybersecurity degree. Should I take it already? I already have a computer science degree. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you should do it. But I have a hard time breaking into the industry in UK. Man, Marcel, listen, man, this is the way you do it. That's exactly how you do it. Let them, yes. And if you don't have any other options, I would highly recommend doing some, especially if you're younger. This is a way to get your foot in the door like you would not believe. It's things like this that made me level up faster. And I'll give you a couple of examples. The first one was when I got out of the military, I was making about $45K a year. And it was brutal because I just got a house, I had a baby on the way. I'm like, damn, this is really hard not being taken care of by the government. When I got out of the military, I was trying to do like a hardcore Unix administrator, field technician. I learned all this stuff. I learned like networking on hardcore networking, and I would learn like a little bit of SATCOM stuff. Like I was learning all kinds of stuff, but I was only making $45,000 a year, and we'd make it like a bonus when we travel, that was cool or whatever. But so what happened was, I got offered another job. Well, actually, the job I was working at, they didn't want to train us, and they had all this other stuff they wanted us to do. And then my sidekick, I was his sidekick. My guy who's mentoring me and teaching me all this stuff, he was gonna leave. So I was like, man, I'm getting the hell out of here before he does. And so I did. I put in my resume, my cybersecurity resume, because I was doing purely technical stuff with these guys, a Unix administrator doing networking stuff. And then I put in all the cybersecurity stuff that I do, and holy crap, I got all these offers, making some of them almost twice as much, but I had to move to another state or whatever, and I didn't want to move. So I was like, I want to stay in the state I'm in, the city I'm in. And I found a job, did the interview, and sat down with them. They offered me more money. And then they said, listen, this job requires that you have a CISSP. However, they said, if we take you, we're going to train you to get the CISSP, and then we'll pay for your training, and then we'll pay for your CISSP, but we want you to stay with us, right? For like while you're getting it, stay with us, and then boom, we'll give you a raise after you get the CISSP. I was like, okay. So yeah, that was a hell of that bumped me up. I mean, I was here 45, and as soon as I did that, I was like making like 90. So yeah, I made double from doing that. Yeah, so yeah, I would highly recommend that. If you have no other offers, you said a cybersecurity degree apprenticeship, yes, with a company where you work for them and they will pay you to complete your degree, yes. And then what you do to take full advantage of that situation is get yourself a certification. Depending on what area you want to go in, you want to get a professional level cert. Now see this chart that we're looking at here? This chart shows you professional level certs. Look at this. There's so much going on with this chart. But what it is as you go up, it goes from apprentice, a beginner certifications, all the way up to expert level. You want the ones that are in this vicinity here, like in this area. These are professional level certs, all from about here to about here, all professional level certifications, and these are within reach. These ones up here, these expert level, these require either $1 billion trillion or a billion years. Like they're hard. They're very, very difficult certifications. You can't. I remember one time, this one CCNP. Him and I were roommates in the Middle East. We had a contract. We were on a contract, and he's doing like voice, CCNP voice or something. And I told him my roommate was a CCIE, so CCIE is here. This is a CCIE up here. That's an expert level certification. It's an impossible certification. It's $2,000 just to take the hands-on. It's $12,000 estimated cost. Probably not 12,000. Probably like 8, 9. Whoever. You got to fly to their. You got to fly to the Cisco in Palo Alto to actually take it. So wherever you are on planet Earth, you got to fly there to go take their certification you got to give them $2,000 and fail it. And if you fail it, guess what? You got to fly back there and retake it. And by the way, it's got a practical hands-on. It's got a test. It's super duper 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 hard. Super duper hard. Super hard. And yeah, so my roommate was a CCIE. And I was asking another CCNP. An NP is like, CCNP is like way down. Where's CCNP? Way down here somewhere? I don't know. Way down. It's somewhere over here. It's a professional level networking cert. So it should be here, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is. CCNP. He was one of these guys. All right, he was somewhere in this vicinity. And I said, hey, man, have you ever thought about taking... Are you going to take the CIE? Are you going to do it? He says, man, you don't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to take the CIE today, CCIE. And he just started laughing at me. He was laughing and laughing at me because it's the most ridiculous statement a person could ever make. So these expert level certs, man, these are insane. Like you have to make a life commitment to take these certifications. All right, unless you're a special person who can just wake up in the morning and take the test and pass it, spend $3,000, fly into their lab and take it and pass it, and then you're good. There's people like that. If you happen to be one of those people, then go for it. But yes, these professional level certs is what you want to get in your career. These ones what I would recommend is these ones right here, as they're paying for your degree. That way, when you get out of there, hell, they'll probably pay you to stay after that because you'll be worth a lot more. So yeah, go for that, man. That's awesome. That's a great. Congrats. That document is somebody said that document is the Bible. I had it blown up and put up on my wall. I want to put a track on each one to seek on the stuff I seek to complete. Oh man, that's a good idea. I didn't think of that. Let me see some other questions here. Somebody said, I remember when ArcSight was regarded as the Benz of vendors. I know, right? What happened? What happened to ArcSight? Yeah, that's my next video. Whatever happened to ArcSight? Man, what happened to ArcSight? That's a great question. I remember on the Gartner, they had this thing called the Gartner Magic Quadrant. If you didn't ever hear about this, something that's used quite frequently whenever we're thinking about buying any other company I'm at, and they're like, hey, we want to buy a router, or we want to buy a firewall. This is one of the places you go to, Gartner Magic Quadrant. And what it does is it rates different products based on the industry usability and how people like it or not. And they do this across the board on many different systems. Like for this, a meeting solution, meeting like GoToMeeting or Zoom or whatever, right? Look at this. Look at this. This tells the whole story right here. This is the whole story right here. Look at this. So you got challengers, you got leaders in the industry for this particular product, for this particular solution. And you got, hold on, let me move my face here. You got to see this. Let's look at Gartner. Oh crap, why did I do that? Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second here, guys. Bear with me. I'm trying to move my face. Okay, I'll just move myself over here. But look at this. Okay, so this is a solution for meetings, meeting solutions. So of course you got Zoom here. Zoom's hot right now. It's a leader in the industry. It has very little challengers, just 3. These 2 right here actually. And then at the bottom, you have visionaries. This is like revolutionary products that are coming out, like they're on the top of their game, whatever, right? Up and comers or whatever. And then down here, you got niche players. This is like things that only they can do, you know. So Excuse me. So maybe Adobe can do animations during the meeting or something, but nobody else can do that. That's like a specialized thing. Visionaries is like potentially it could be big because they got a whole new vision of how to do this thing. And then challengers is people who are up and coming. I would say these are up and coming type. Google has one. GoToMeeting has been out there for a long time. Huawei apparently has one. But look at this. The ones who matter the most is right here in this quadrant right here. These are the big dogs. These guys are taking over everything. Everybody's using their stuff. Gartner. If you didn't know what this tool is, it's called Gartner Magic Quadrant. You can do this for switches, routers. Name a product, name an IT product, and Gartner has done some sort of deep level research on it and has put it into this quadrant. This is fascinating, especially if you happen to be in acquisitions and you want to figure out, okay, what firewall should we use? This right here breaks it all down. But this right here is the leaders. Microsoft, that's Skype, I think. No, it's probably Teams, huh? It's either Teams or Skype. I don't know which one they're talking about. Skype's not that good these days, so it's probably Teams. And then Cisco is Web Meet. What is it called? You guys know what it's called. Web something. I don't remember what it's called. It's funny because I just got through with a company. I was using it for like a year, and I can't remember what the name of it is. Web something. I don't know what it is. And then, of course, Zoom. Zoom is the hottest going on right now. Everybody's using Zoom. Let's look at another magic quadrant. Let's look at I wanted to see seams because I want to know whatever happened to ArcSight. Man, ArcSight was the Cadillac of seams. And they do this every year, by the way. They do this like every year. This is from 2021. Look at this. No ArcSight. They're not even on the list. They're not even on the list. That's so sad. Or maybe they were renamed. WebEx, that's what it is. Thanks, Colby. Appreciate you. Yeah, look at this. Look at this, man. These are SIEMs. These security information event managers. I don't know if they... What happened to ArcSight? Oh, man, that just makes me so upset. You know how many certifications I had with ArcSight? Damn. This makes me mad. And maybe they renamed it Exabeam or something. It's not here. It's not on this list. Not even in the niche players. What happened, ArcSight? Maybe they got bought by another. Dell bought RSA. Rapid7. Oh, Rapid7's on here. Oh, that's interesting. IBM and Splunk. Yeah, Splunk. I remember when Splunk took over, man. They just like killed it. Splunk used to be some like backwards. It was free for a long time, actually. And then they just took over, man. Wow. Look at that. That's just sad. IBM was that QDAR or something? Let me see. Hold on a second. Let's look at something everybody knows. Let's look at firewalls. What are the top firewalls? That's what I want to know. Firewall. Like, check this out. At Gartner, you can do this. Firewall. And you can look for 2021. What are the top firewalls in 2021? Let me see. Palo Alto. That makes sense. There it is right there. Palo Alto. Fortinet and Checkpoint. Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, Cisco really fell. What happened to McAfee? McAfee bought Sidewinder not too long ago. Damn, what happened? What happened, McAfee? Damn, they're not even on the list either. Surprising. Maybe at the bottom. Let me see. SonicWall. This must be some kind of mistake. I don't understand. Like, where is McAfee? Maybe this isn't a legit list. I don't know. I'm shocked. Spades 93 says Splunk had a rebrand. My preferred SIEM. Oh wow. My position presently used Sumo Lock. Okay, Sumo Logic. Have you ever heard of Tanium? Yes, I've heard of Tanium before. What is Tanium? What is that? Isn't it some kind of a file integrity system or something. Some kind of, let me see. Where's Tanium at? Is it a firewall? What is Tanium? One of my clients was using that. I can't remember what it was. I know is it a fire? Okay, when founders went ghost, people distanced themselves from McAfee. Oh, damn. That's tragic. Oh, when the founder, yeah. When John McAfee passed away, you mean? Oh, okay, here we go. For endpoint protection. Okay, that's what Tanium was, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, here's endpoint protection. Microsoft, wow, man, still killing it. CrowdStrike, Symantec, Trend Micro, Sophos. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That's an interesting market right there. This market moves a lot because this thing's been changing, man. This market moves a lot, man, because I'm looking at this. I'm like, what? There's all these new guys here. Not new. Well, these Trend Micro's not new. Sophos not new. But they like keep moving around because Trend Micro, I remember these guys weren't on this list. They were down here somewhere. Wow, that's an interesting market if you think about it, because it's what? Uh-oh. Malwarebytes is moving up. Look at that. Damn. I love this product. Malwarebytes is awesome, man. I've been using that for years. FireEye. Wow, I'm surprised they're FireEye. These are the guys who discovered they discovered that one hack. That's from Mandiant. They discovered that one hack on the Sunburst for SolarWinds. Yeah, they discovered that, I believe. Wow, and they're down here, man. Wow, that speaks volumes. Interesting. I'm gonna check one more thing out. Let's see. Let me see. Magic Quadrant for routers. Okay, let's see routers. Now I know routers is gonna be Cisco, Palo Alto, and Juniper, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see here. Cisco, Palo Alto, and Juniper. That's my guess. Oh, Juniper.net put theirs on there, so that means Juniper must be. I like how they do that. What they'll do is they'll say when they get like number one on there, they'll make sure they advertise that right on the front of their site. Okay, for some reason I can't get to these. But yeah, that's Magic Quadrant. That's what it is. Gartner Magic Quadrant. They do this once per year. And it's really good, especially if the organization asks you, hey, could you help us to choose a new firewall, or could you help us to choose a new whatever device, whatever, you can use the Magic Quadrant from Gartner to figure out, okay, what are the top players, who are the up and comers, like what's the best product. Then you got to figure out like how much you want to spend, because those ones that are on the top, SolarWinds, those ones that are on the top, man, those are going to be expensive, man. Those are going to be expensive. And I've been talking for about an hour and a half, guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching me. I appreciate it. Before I leave, I wanted to just tell you guys, I have a book coming out. It's coming out really soon. That's why I'm advertising it. It's already written. I just have to get it edited and everything. I have to do the cover, all that kind of stuff. But it is for the NIST control families. If you're interested in how to interpret the NIST 800 control families, this book is for you. So what I do is I go through each one of the families and I talk about, okay, what do you do in the prepare step? What do you do in the implementation step? What do you do in the authorization step? And what I'm doing is I'm keeping it high level so you can interpret this family of controls to help you to navigate the NIST 800. So let me just give you an example. So if we looked at the AC control family, if you looked at AC control family, what I do is I just get straight to the point. Here's what it is. Wow, this book is longer than I thought. Okay, here we go. So I just talk about, okay, what is it? First of all, it's control and access to the systems, logical control of access to the systems. That's what it is. But it also includes wireless access and remote access and mobile access. Here are the top controls you need to worry about. There are over 20 AC controls, but here are the ones that are most visible. Here's the ones you need as an ISSO. Here's the ones you need to worry about. Then I go into, what do you do to prepare? Like if you're going through the risk management framework process, what do I do as an ISSO? And I'm a cybersecurity person in this field. I've been tasked with getting our system ready to go through this whole process. What do? I talk about this for new systems and for systems that are already existing that just need this. And this is just talking about, what do you do? Like, you coordinate with these different teams. What teams do you need to coordinate with? Well, you need to talk to the people who do access control management, because AC2 is talking about account management. Account management is talking about role-based accounts, and breaking down, like making sure you have a difference between your standard accounts and privileged accounts. You need to talk to the people who do that, right? So that's one of the first things you do to prepare, is talk to the stakeholders. And another thing you need to do is go and get the documents. What documents do you need to get? That's what this whole book talks about. And then it talks about, what do you do in categorize and selection of the security controls? What are some of the things that you need to be mindful of for the AC control family? It's got some pictures in here and stuff to tell you about, like, what exactly is this control. By the time you're done with this short chapter, you're going to know exactly what account AC controls are and what to look for as an information system security officer. This book right here is really good. I'm not seeing anybody do what I'm doing here. So this right here is coming out really soon. Be ready for it. Just keep watching. Join if you're interested. What you need to do right now is go to ConvoCourses.com. Sign up for free. Because what I'll do is, I usually release this to my people first, and my people are on ConvoCourses.com. You don't have to buy anything on ConvoCourses.com to be on there to get my newsletter. I do a personal video directly to them. Sometimes I'll give stuff out for free. Sometimes I give a huge discount, whatever. Or I'll say, hey, my book is out. Go right now to Amazon. I put it out there for $1. I'm only doing that for 3 days or something like that. I'll do stuff like that, right? Because I need you guys' help more than you need me. So I'll put it out to my people first and say, look, it's $1. I need a review. Can you guys give me a review? I'll give you this for free if you give me a review. That's what I did for my last book. And if you are interested in getting my last book, this is like, and it's not all, like, this one's a little bit more personal. I talk about in this story, I talk about how I was about to get a Windows NT server tattoo on my arm, and somebody talked me out of it.